Hi, folks. Steve Urban here from the Riderflex Podcast. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by two companies I'm deeply involved with. First up, Robo Reliance, your trusted partner for nationwide robot maintenance and repair, specializing in humanoid and autonomous robots for homes and businesses. Visit roboreliance.com to learn more. And for all your home maintenance needs, there's Cura Home Maintenance of Colorado. From air duct cleaning to dryer vent cleaning to gutter cleanouts and much more. Check them out at curahomeservices.com. And finally, don't forget about the two books we've published in the Riderflex Guide series. The first being the Riderflex Guide, Inspiring and Hiring. This one is targeted at all types of managers and supervisors, anybody that interviews and hires people. And the second one, the Riderflex Guide 2.0, Mastering Job Interviews, designated to help all levels of job candidates prepare for and ace the interview. And now for today's episode. Please subscribe and enjoy. Kathleen, so let's see, what's the weather in Tampa today? Is it good?
I think it's going to get up to like 70 today. It's been pretty cold for Tampa.
Oh my
For
God.
Tampa.
I
It's
can't
been like
believe you.
the upper 30s and 40s.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, you know what? That's right. I saw Destin, Florida had like snow on the beach or something, right?
Yeah, there was snow
Yeah.
in Tallahassee. Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, that doesn't, I mean, that's pretty rare, right? Isn't it?
Very rare. Very, very rare. My daughter, our middle child is at FSU and they had tons of snow. So all the kids, it was fun. She had described it kind of like magical. Even seeing like the frat boys being amazed by it. She was just talking about the behaviors, which was kind of cool.
It's so interesting how we all kind of live, I mean, depending on where you live in the country, right? You just get used to certain things. And
I
then when
know.
it changes, it's like, wow, what is this? I mean, does Tampa even have a salt and sand truck? Probably not.
I don't think so.
That's pretty
So,
good. Where are you from originally?
Chicago. So I'm used
Oh,
to
okay.
salt and sand trucks.
No, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 How long you been in Florida?
I've been in Florida, in Tampa about 23 years now, 22. But I was in South Florida for a few years, like 5 years
Okay.
before this.
Okay.
And then did a jaunt overseas in Amsterdam as an expat and then went back to Chicago. I've been all over the place until I was like 30 and then I settled down here in Tampa.
Okay. Tell me
Yep.
about your family a little bit growing up in Chicago. Mom, dad, give me siblings, give me some history if you don't mind.
All right. Irish family,
Okay.
big time. So Irish community in the Chicagoland area. Dad was a roofer, worked his way up to being a foreman and leading roofers. Um, Hardworking dude. He would smell like tar coming home at like 3 p.m. and just be nasty. But that my brothers and I, like to this day, talk about his smell. He's no longer with us, but that's something that we discuss. My mom, a teacher, all her life, inner city teacher,
Oh,
and then
fun.
moved to the suburbs. Yeah, so she's a hardcore teacher and has been. She's got a huge following on Facebook, all her past students and
Really?
such.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay. That's
it's
cool.
pretty cool.
Uh,
And then two brothers. I'm the youngest of two brothers. So
okay. All right. All right. And is your mom down in Florida with you now, or is she still up north?
she is. She followed us down here to Tampa. So
Was she like a block away, or she's got a mother-in-law plan?
she's about a mile. She's about a mile on Bayshore,
I see.
along the bay in a condo. So she's living the high life.
So she can come over a lot, but she still she's like, Mom, you got your own space. Like, okay, let's.
Yeah, yeah. She's got her own space. She's very independent. She's 81. So
All
yeah,
right. Three daughters.
three daughters.
I saw that
Three
somewhere. I
daughters.
saw it on one of your posts or something. I can't when I was doing my homework. I think,
Yeah,
yeah. How
all
old
of
are
them
they?
college.
Oh,
Oldest is 21, then 20, and then 18. So
okay. Wow, you had three teenagers at the same time. I bet that was fun.
it's been fun. I'm like a better teenage parent, I would say. I vibe well with it. I haven't had a lot of problems. I've kind of learned to navigate that whole journey. And they haven't really given me a hard time. I'm blessed for that.
So of all three, you didn't have like a rebel. You didn't have like the one that's calling you from the sheriff's department. Come get me my.
God, no, thank God. Um, so how about you?
We have four grown ones as well. Yeah, we did have a rebel. We got a well, she's still a rebel as far as I'm concerned. But
You
yeah,
see?
we had one that's yeah. What do we call it? Free spirit. Yeah,
Yep, yep.
I got one of those. We got one of those, but they're all four grown. I got two granddaughters. You don't have any grandkids yet, do you?
No grandkids yet. No
And
grandkids
none
yet.
of them are married, right?
None of them
No.
married
Yeah.
yet. No,
Okay. What's
not
your husband?
engaged.
What's your husband do?
He's a head of sales for a fintech company. Here in Tampa, they do business with mostly global companies. All of his clients are around the world. It's called Fair Economy.
I
So,
see. I see. Is that why you settled down? You met him in Tampa?
um, odd story. I met him in Chicago. We worked at another company and we didn't date or anything like that. He was dating somebody else. I love that I'm sharing this. He was dating somebody else at the time. I just wasn't even interested. We didn't even cross paths because we just didn't. And then we both got recruited coincidentally like a year later down to South Florida by the same guy from that company who became the president of
I
the
see.
software company.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we became friends because we knew of each other, and that's how it all started.
And then one day in the office, he's like, "Hey, let's go to dinner or something.
Let's go to lunch. And
Let's go to
yeah, we
lunch. Yeah, yeah. Let's go to
totally,
lunch."
totally. We would go to lunch, catch up, like share stories about different people we were dating and stuff. And then
And
he
then,
was an executive at the time, and so we had to like keep it on the
oh,
down low for like ever. Um, so
well, that
yeah,
made it more fun. You had to sneak around at first.
it kind of did. It kind of did add a little flavor to our already fun lives.
Yeah, I noticed been in recruiting like almost from the beginning, huh?
I have. I really have, and I still love it. Can you believe it?
I mean, it can create some scars.
Yeah. I never knew I wanted to be in it. I thought I wanted to be in HR and
Okay.
like do the administrative pieces of human resources, but then I started out in an agency, like an IT recruiting firm,
Uh,
and I really liked it. And one of my clients had recruited me in on the corporate side of recruiting. So my journey started in corporate recruiting and then moved my way up to corporate recruiting leadership in tech businesses.
okay.
So yeah,
Did you know back then that you wanted to do your own thing, or you were just kind of yeah, you were just kind of going through the motions at the time?
not at all, not at all. Just going through the motions, living life, .com era. And then I was an expat in Europe with a software company I was with, and they brought me over to help grow the European division and hire and do HR. And so it was a great experience. But 9/11 hit when I was over there. And so
Okay.
they're like, we're closing down shop and here's your severance for a year. And that was the transition, when I decided I'm gonna go out on my own.
I
I'm not gonna,
see.
yeah, I was still so young too, but I did it.
Yeah, how old were you at the time?
God, when I started, I think like 29, maybe 28.
And your severance, of course, back then your severance was what, like 50 grand, 70 grand?
I did well back then.
Oh,
I mean,
more.
like I
Okay.
said,
Okay.
it was a .com era.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it
So
was a good
you had enough to live slash
for a year.
start the business
Yeah, and play a little
and
bit,
play a little bit. Yeah.
buy some tools like monster.com and stuff, and then reach out to old contacts, executives, being like, hey, we have a relationship. Do you need help?
Yeah.
And then there you go. That's how it started.
Well, how'd you come up with what's Naviga? What's that from?
Um, so the business started with it was a business that helped companies with their telecom expenditures before it was a recruiting business. My husband was doing a little bit on that and consulting because he was on severance as well. So he started, and what should we call it? And so Naviga is a version of navigate. So navigate through the telecom expenditures, but it morphed into, okay, navigate through your recruiting and hiring. You know what I mean?
I
Um,
see. I see.
so we kept
So,
it.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
So both of you were on severance and you were trying to figure, okay, we got to file this, we got to file this business under some kind of name and it tied into kind of what he was doing on that side.
Yeah.
And you guys were kind of working together at first.
Not really. I was like, why don't I, under that umbrella, do a little recruiting? I didn't work with him at all. Like totally different.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
he did his
Okay.
own thing, consulted with a company down here in Tampa, and that's how we got down to Tampa. He was traveling all the time, and we're like, should we just move? They offered him an exec job, and we did. So
I see. So his little consulting entrepreneur episode was short because he went and
it
took a
was
corporate.
short. It was short. He went back. He went
Okay.
back quick.
Well, that, of course, back then, of course, then he gets health insurance and then you don't have to worry about you both being not having it, all that. All those little things matter, right? Back then, I'm sure. Did you have any kids then?
I was pregnant. Hadn't had my first one yet.
Okay.
So. Mhm.
All right. Gotcha. So that's how all that happened. All right. Cool. So what, do you remember what you did in your first year? Revenue? Any idea?
I don't know, maybe like 40 grand,
Yeah.
20,000. I was happy to even like
Mine was
make
30.
it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Mine was 30. I'll never forget. Yeah. I did 30 grand my first year.
Weren't you excited?
Uh, I mean, I was having fun. I remember my wife was like, yeah, I know you're having fun and all, but are you gonna like make real money soon?
Yeah. Oh, it excited me. I'm like, this is way too easy.
Okay, good. All right. Well, you were a natural.
I felt it. I was like, man, this is way too easy. The money's too coming too easy for me.
Do
I
you,
felt it.
how long did you go before you brought somebody on?
I started slow. Like once I got a little busier, I'm like, all right, let me see if my buddy like can like help me out who does recruiting and then I'll give a little something, if they get a hit. So it started that way where and then I'm like, okay, I think I'm using that person so much I need to formalize a contract. And then like literally it was that organic and then it just worked its way to say, shoot, I think I need a website. Like this is,
What year is this? You remember what
you're
year
like,
this?
God, I don't even know. I've been in business now 23 years. This was probably years
2002, something like that?
five and under. Oh, when I started, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, oh
okay,
02. I
yeah.
mean, damn. I wonder how old is LinkedIn? Was LinkedIn even around then?
I don't think LinkedIn was. It was all just job boards, Career Builder and Monster. And
Monster. Yeah.
yeah, and
Wow.
The ladders
I
was
remember
around.
that one. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
damn, '02. People, I think, were still mailing hard resumes to places.
Oh, we were no, we were we were doing email transactions. I think yeah, it was diversified where you'd get some stuff in the mail, but there was a lot of email by then.
And then there was, and no, Facebook. That was before Facebook, right? So,
Yeah, before Facebook.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. You've seen a lot with technology over the days as you've grown the business. Holy cow.
I've seen a ton. I mean, I went from having like paper files and storing resumes based on skill sets, in a giant book, like cold calling um
Yeah.
companies in the Chicagoland area to now it's an absolute beautiful dream, the efficiencies we have with
Isn't it?
recruiting.
Totally. Yeah. I couldn't agree more. Yeah. So when applicant tracking system, hell, that term wasn't even around. What'd you even use? What'd you use? Word and Excel, barely.
Barely. Well, on the agency side, they didn't even have that. But it's interesting. Corporate recruiting, we did have like centralized systems. I forget even what they were called.
Yeah. What were they?
But
Yeah. Yeah.
there were some centralized like databases that you could search from based on keywords and stuff.
I bet it's pretty cool when you call on somebody to put them in a job that you you did the same thing for them like 17 years ago. I bet that's pretty cool.
Um, yeah, it's kind of cool. I think now, like the people who I called on are retired. You know, what's fun is the people I used to work with
Mm,
on the corporate recruiting side, a lot of them are my clients now.
okay.
And so we've kept in touch and kind of grown up with each other. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Very, very good. How big's the firm now? I don't know how much you want to share. I know it's a private company, but how, like, any idea you want to share?
Yeah, we've got 12 people, and then additional contractors.
Mm. You got
So
contractors you can flex in and out depending on how busy you get.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, flex in and out.
Yeah.
A good group of people. And
That's good. Good for you. That's great. Are you still involved day to day, or is your team running it, or what's your tactical activity these days?
facilitating success, right?
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Uh,
facilitating success. So um looking at the pillars that we have set forth together and working with the core team to assure that the things are happening in the right place, and then problem solving with them.
okay.
If they come across roadblocks, and um yeah. So, and
If
that didn't happen overnight. Like it's taken a long time for me to get here. So,
but if Google called and said we want you to recruit our next CFO, you'd do that one yourself?
no, not
No,
anymore.
no, no, no.
No,
You won't take on. No, you're not doing any more recruiting.
not anymore. No,
Okay. Yeah.
I can, and it's easy money, but I if I do it, it basically disrupts the leader I'm trying to be,
Okay.
and I'm not going to do it.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And you specialize. Tell everybody a little bit about what, because I think you got areas you focus on. You want to give us a little overview.
Yeah.
Give us a sales pitch.
It was a sales pitch. Oh God. So we specialize in sales, marketing, and operations recruiting all across the United States for worldwide companies. And we play around mostly in higher level individual contributor to executive. So, and we can offer employers direct hire, temp staffing, RPO, and really specialized executive search. So
You're an employer of record, or you run that through a third party?
we have a partner
Yeah.
who does that. Yep.
Okay. Okay,
Mhm.
very good. But is what, like 80% of your business is permanent placement, single placements, or what?
I'd say 70 direct hire and 30% temp staffing. So we've got a nice, yeah, we've
Okay.
got a nice group there
Okay.
on payroll.
And on that 70% that's permanent is what percentage is most of that like manager to C-level stuff? Most of it?
Most of it's 80 to 100K base and
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's your sweet spot? It just happened that way, or that's what you focus on that for a certain reason?
Evolves. I mean, the longer you're in business, the bigger the proven entity you can show. And then it attracts higher deal prices. So, and we've got a system down here where we can show it, a selling system too,
Okay.
that makes the world feel comfortable about doing business with us. So it's retained. I'd say 95% of our business is retained. Multi-billion dollar companies don't like to retain unless it's just an executive search, but because they have way too much hiring, they want to do a flat rate, which we will. But for the most part, we're retained.
On retain, you're doing a percent compensation, but you will do a flat rate if the deal's right.
Yeah, if it's a volume. We've got a threshold on what we don't want to go under.
On the flat rate, do you make them pay something up front?
Most of the time. I mean,
Yeah.
90% of the time we're asking for something up front and we
Something.
get it.
Something. Give me
Something.
some.
Well,
Give me.
no, I mean
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
ranges anywhere from like 2,500 to, I mean, for an executive search, sometimes 15,000. So it just depends.
Total price.
No, up front.
What are your fees on your website, or you don't put your prices on your website, do you? No,
No.
no.
Mm-mm.
It sounds like you have a general package that you sell, but you're somewhat flexible and open to conversation depending on what's going on. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We've got to remain flexible.
Isn't that so funny? When we first started the firm, we've had Riderflex open for 9 years, and I was an operations executive first for a long time. I was a C-level
Yeah.
ops guy, and so I my brain is, this is the process, and it's going to be this way, and this is what we're going to pitch, and this is how the clients are going to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. It's like,
oh,
like yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. I quickly learned like actually every client wants it sometimes a little bit different. There's going to be a little negotiation here on either the process or the presentation or the fee or whatever, depending on what's going on. And then you just, as an owner, at least for us anyway, you just have to decide, okay, what am I comfortable with? How far outside the lines do I want to draw for this client?
right. Right. And is it exclusive and can this be long term? What are your plans next year as well as 6 months
Oh,
and like bigger conversations that can get us comfortable.
has this person done favors for me in the past? Are they about to introduce me to somebody else? Are they a
Right.
board? Are they a board member? Do I know la 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 all of it? Right? There's so many.
Exactly.
There's so many things there. It's gray, right? And so I would say, gosh, every once in a while, a client will just call up and they'll say, "We want to hire you," and we say, "Here's what we do. This is our price. That's our process." And they're like, "Okay, cool. Send the contract." They sign it. Boom, done.
Yeah.
That's not very often. Most of the time, it's this dance.
Right. Right. Right.
And then we figure it out. How's talk to me about, so we're recording this, by the way, on the 29th of January, 2025. How are the last 12 months been compared to, you know, how the last 24 months been, I guess? Because I feel like 2022, at least for most recruiters I talked to, like 2022 was a pretty damn good year for most of us. It was almost hard not to make money. And then it got a little tougher, at least from folks I talked to. What's your take on it?
Yeah, that's a great question for 24 months. I know exactly how this has looked in comparison because we've been building out our numbers and creating our 2025 goals. We're kind of obsessed with it right now.
Yeah,
Um, 2022 was a great year.
yeah.
2023 was an even better year. That's when Naviga um, had multiple RPOs on
Okay,
top of our direct hire,
that helps.
and life was good. Life was really good. But what happened and what I learned from that is that it took us like managing two major RPOs in 1 year. It took our eye off the ball on our direct hire revenues and business development, growth on direct hire and things of that nature. So it put us in a spot. Financially, we were beautiful in 2023, but it put us in a spot entering 2024 when the RPOs were ending. It's almost like you run a marathon, and what do you want to do right after you run that marathon is rest naturally.
Yeah,
Every human being in the business, we didn't say we were resting. We didn't even acknowledge that we're resting, but I think human behavior says, what the hell did we just do?
yeah.
And we didn't have time to even celebrate it. Um, so 2024 sucked. But it was because we were comparing P&L with a year that we've never experienced,
Yeah.
and we didn't plan for it properly in 2024. But we learned from it. And as a result, I mean, 2025 is going to kick some major ass. So I'm excited about it.
So we'll take a pause right there. Everything you just described, this might be the highlight clip, by the way. Everything you just described, and I shit you not, I'm not just making this up. That's almost identical for our business. Almost identical.
You mean what happened?
Yep. Almost identical. 2022, great year. 2023, and we were like you. We were very similar. Probably 70% of our stuff was permanent, and we had two or three big RPO clients.
No way.
almost identical.
Way.
Towards the end of 20 mid 2023, lost an RPO, they stopped hiring, lost another one, stopped hiring, and we're like, oh shit, okay. And of course,
Uh-huh.
like you, we're like, oh, had a bunch of cash in the bank, feeling good, hired some new recruiters, boom, lost an RPO, boom, lost an RPO. Oh, we'll get another one, we'll get another one. It's fine, it's fine. Boom, lost another one. And then 2024, it was just like, fuck, like holy shit. Like damn, it's like
I know.
somebody, unless you recruit in healthcare or skilled trades, which are both, I think recruiters there generally are still doing okay. But unless you're one of those, 2024 was brutal. I mean, I remember so many times over the last 12 months, I'd call my partner. I'm like, bro, we got all kinds of great logos on the website. We got 355-star reviews on Google. We got a great reputation. We have a podcast. We have two books. I mean, like,
Like, what the hell?
like what the hell? And nobody's calling. Like, damn. Yeah, it was tough. So everything you just described. And so then, and I'll say this, and I'll ask you when I ask you more about 2025. So then we come up into 2025, and political parties aside,
Mhm.
for whoever you like or don't like it, the vibe kind of feels good right now. At least if the words sound good, it seems to be positive. Uh, we'll see. We'll see. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm kind of like, okay. So, yeah, talk to me. Why are you feeling good? Tell me why you're feeling positive? Because it's been a
Well,
rough, yeah.
my difference here is that I really don't think we were a victim of what was going on in 2024. Like meeting with the worlds
Okay.
and having
You,
election and industries, because we're so diverse.
so
We are,
you blame more of it internally?
I blame it on me. I blame it on me. I really do. I think
Okay.
I just didn't plan for it and have the guidance to
Maybe,
plan properly.
maybe.
We're too diversified.
So,
And mhm. Yeah.
so you're saying you were too broad. You wished you would have narrowed your focus.
No, no, what I mean is we are too diversified with industries to say that we were pigeon
I see.
held by this
I see.
particular industry and we couldn't get business. Like we have the same existing customers as we did. Like literally, if I didn't get an ounce of new business, new prospect coming to me for
Hmm.
the next 5 years and just managed our existing customer list that is massive throughout the years,
Uh-huh.
we intentionally and strategically, we should be a different company. So my point is that my eye was not on the ball properly to grow our accounts and nurture them the way we need to because I was too fat and happy reacting to that RPO. And I think I'm a victim of my size business.
Okay.
That happening because it's my size business. This is, a 13-person business. What do you do? Like,
Yeah.
um, I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it. I think we did a little bit of that too. I think after 2022, I also was more relaxed. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go camping on this weekend for 4 days. You guys got it. I'll see you when I get back. Stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, I think maybe some of that happened to me too. Very, very possible. Um,
Okay.
but
Interesting.
anyway, so you feel better about 2025 because of your own internal regroup plan, etc.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. Accountabilities all over the place. I've restructured a few things. Everybody knows exactly what lane they're staying in.
Okay.
They know their goals, they know their accountabilities. I know how to drive those. I know what they are. We've agreed to them.
Okay.
Incentives are in place
All right.
across the board. Like, I'm excited.
Okay. Good. 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 Hey, you got the right spirit. That's good. I hope everybody's hiring as much as
It
I
takes more
want them
than
to.
spirit, though, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
takes
I
more
mean,
than
it
spirit.
does, right? I mean, yeah. I mean, hey, you got the right attitude. More power to you. I'm glad that's
Yeah.
that's true. Let's talk about this. Uh, so how do you think we're all going to be affected by this, by the AI and the technology and so forth? Not just on our own job, okay? Let's look beyond just our own industry, our own function.
Okay.
Um, what do you think is going to happen with the workforce with some of the AI stuff? Do you think that's going to affect jobs negatively and therefore affect us because people won't be hiring as much? What's your outlook?
I haven't thought about that from a negative sense about affecting and taking jobs over with
Okay.
AI.
Okay.
I'm a user of AI. I'm a huge advocate. I'm not afraid of it. I embrace it. I think it's killer.
Okay.
Um, I'm interested in the nuclear aspect of AI. And what I mean is like keeping up with the data. And, these big companies like Apple and Google and Microsoft pretty much getting nuclear real estate because they see that they can't keep up with the data. It's too much. And I've never thought of nuclear power in that perspective in my life. I've grown up to be afraid of nuclear, even the word, you think of war. You don't view nuclear as a tool to basically
Yeah.
keep the
Yeah. Right.
common
Right. Yeah.
the human race going
Yeah.
from an efficiency standpoint and standard of living. So now here we are. So that's the bigger scale I think about. Like, what does this mean?
I
Like,
see.
I get excited to learn more about that aspect and where we're going to go as a society and where these nuclear plants will go. What are the impacts of that? What is the safety behind it? Because it's always been viewed as a negative in my entire life. So, but now it's going to be used as this like source, to make things happen from an AI standpoint. I don't know.
What I foresee a short-term transitional pain period. I do think as technology grows, I think at the end of the day, we figure it out. New jobs are created, just like we've always done. We figure out new shit to do.
Yeah.
And humans are creative, and we'll probably, when the dust settles, it'll probably be fine. My concern is that the speed of AI and technology will eliminate some current jobs faster than new jobs can be created. And there'll be this short kind of messy period where people are frustrated and angry because they're like, okay, well, AI just took my job and now I'm not retrained. I'm 48 years old. I don't AI just replaced what I do. Now I got to get retrained. I'm pissed off. There's no jobs. So I think there's going to be a short-term messy period. I hope I'm wrong, but that's my current prediction.
Yeah. I could see that.
Yeah, it could happen. And so
Yeah.
as a recruiter, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I think anybody in the recruiting space definitely needs to be paying attention, because it could obviously affect us. I know this right now. Me, Brianna, and Marcy, and Scott at Riderflex, we can do the same amount of tactical work using AI that we've implemented that it used to take 10 people to do easily. Easily. I've already replaced 5 or 6 people that I don't have to use payroll because I have tools and AI agents that just do shit.
Nice.
And I think other companies are doing the exact same thing. I think that's I
Right.
think the exact same thing is going to continue. So I'm just a little nervous about how that all fleshes out. But hopefully I'm wrong about everything, and Kathleen's right, and it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. That's a
Hey,
good.
I didn't comment on what you're talking about. I just talked about my interest in nuclear. I need to give it more thought. I need to do more research in what this could mean, in the future. I'm just too damn busy on numbers right now for my
Well,
business
that's
and
great. Oh, that's
getting
great. Hey,
budgets. So,
no, that's good. That's good. That's good. No, I'm glad that you're focused on that. That's awesome. All right, so I just realized, speaking of cutting expenses, I just saw the warning sign on my screen where I'm down to I went back to the free version of Zoom, so I only have 40 minutes.
Oh no.
We can pop back in if we run out of time, and
Okay.
then I'll just splice it together. That's so funny. You know, at 2024 sucked, right? So I was like, okay, well, all right, what expenses can we cut?
Oh, totally,
Eh,
totally. Even
eh,
if
eh,
it's like ten more bucks a month, you
You
know.
know, it's like here's 10, here's 20, here's 30, here's this, that, this. You'd be surprised how fast all those little charges add up. And then I got team members doing a full-blown audit on our bank and our Amex statement. And of course, you signed up for something, 9 months ago that's $5 a month. You forgot about it, and now you never use it. It's like, oh yeah, yes, cancel,
Totally.
cancel, cancel.
Yep. I know.
Why don't we? Do you mind jumping right back into the link? And I'm going to close it up, and we'll wrap it up. I'll
Sure.
ask you a couple more questions.
Yep, I'll do
Okay.
it.
All right. And we're back. We're back.
Oh, here we go.
We're back. We're back. Kathleen, I want to ask you as we get closer to wrap up here. Let's talk about. I mean, you've done just a few interviews in your life.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's. Do you mind giving maybe, I don't know, your top three or four pieces of advice to candidates,
Hmm.
and then afterwards, let's talk about three or four pieces of advice for recruiters. But let's start with candidates. I mean, if you had to pick your favorites, and before you answer, it's for me. I think my top three or four kind of change over the years a little bit. It moves around a little. But what's your current hot buttons for candidates?
I don't think this has ever died. It's really about behaviors and telling them that employers are looking at your behaviors even more so than your skill set in the interview process. So you got to show up. You got to fake it like you make it. Be positive and show them who you are personality wise. I think it really matters.
Couldn't agree more. By the way, I'll just extend that. Yeah, everything. If you're listening to this episode, like especially once you make it past the initial screening, okay? Once you make it past the initial screening, like everything you do, Mr. and Mrs. Candidate, it's being dissected. If you said, I will send you that tomorrow, and you don't, that's being dissected. If you sent an email with two misspells on it, that's dissected. If your voicemail answering thing on your cell phone is weird and creepy, that's dissected. I mean, everything you do from the screening period on, the way you answer emails, the way you answer the phone, the timeliness of your response, all of it. The background on your video, if it's trash overflowing, your bed's not made, whatever. Like it's all being dissected, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
okay. Good one. I like that. How about recruiters? Give me some. I know you coach recruiters for a living now. You want to give me
Yes.
a couple?
Yeah. I'm gonna say it's the same thing. I know it might sound boring, but it's speed, it's tenacity, it's follow-up, it's um the way that you do things and the way that you sound, the ability to text, the ability to use technology to your benefit, the ability to discern talent quickly and move on to the next thing, and the ability to get knocked down and get right back up, especially in this industry.
I, yeah. What I think, by the way, I think of old retailers, retail managers make great recruiters. Or anybody in hospitality, restaurant management, retail, they're so gritty, right? They're
Yeah,
grinders, right? They're just
exactly.
grinders.
Yep.
Eh,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
they'll just get after it, man. Nothing phases them, you
Yep.
know. My best person, Marcy, best recruiter, she was believe it or not, back in the day, I used to be a district manager for Bath and Body Works.
Really?
Yeah. And Marcy was one of my store managers. And now
Oh, cool.
she's been with me now for a long time. And she's great because she's a grinder, right? She just gets it. Like
Yeah.
she gets the life. Anyway, what was my point? What was my point? Oh, my point was going to be, it's the hustle. I always tell people, it's so funny when we're trying to sell to a client, they'll be like, "Well, what's your secret? So like, what's your secret sauce? Why are you special? What's your patented formula? Whatever." I'm like, look, man, let me just, if there's any recruiting firm out there that's telling you they have some sort of secret pill or secret bullet, silver bullet, that's all bullshit.
Bill.
Listen, it's hustle and execution.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
it. That's it. Like,
Yeah.
do you have people that are going to dial for dollars, follow up aggressively, get people on the phone, do their job? Like, that's it, man. There is no secret. We're not building rocket ships here.
Right. High level of communication, quick response
Quick
rate.
response rate,
Yeah.
fast response culture. That's what we say. Fast
Yeah.
response culture. Anytime I get somebody new in, I send them a text, and then it's like 8 hours later, I get a text.
Oh my God.
I'm like, no, bro, that's no.
You tell them right away. Like
Oh, absolutely. I'm just like, hey, man, listen, we're fast response culture here. Like, if you don't
we're
like
like,
it, that's cool. You just can't be part of our team.
right. That's how it goes.
Okay. Anything else you want to share about Naviga? Anything else you want to tell us? Let's see. Did we talk about the website? What is it? What's the website?
NavigaRecruiting.com. That's the website.
So what you need to do, everybody, is first go call Riderflex, and if I can't close you on a deal, then call Kathleen's team. No, I'm just playing. I just, I
Hey,
just,
there's enough business to go around, isn't it?
yeah. Well, that's why I had you on the podcast. Yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Sales, operations,
In marketing.
marketing, sales, operations, and marketing.
Yep.
Which one you like best?
Marketing.
What? Oh, I think sales people are fun to recruit. They're just
I think they're fun too, but you said what do you like the best? And it is marketing. It's the easiest to fill. There's not a lot of like hidden stuff that goes on in the process with the client or the candidate.
I got you.
No, it's straightforward.
Oh, I just thought of one more question.
What?
Number one piece of advice for the client. I got a bunch. You could come back on the show. We could do a whole hour of advice for the client, the
Really
company that
could.
hires us. Give me a good one.
Number one piece of advice for a client. Let me think. God, there's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many. Number
Yeah.
one, just stay the course and keep a good cadence to your process, right? Don't ghost candidates, don't ghost us. Keep a good cadence because candidates are watching the employer brand. They're evaluating you just as much as you're evaluating them, and that's key.
Let's go deeper on that. Maybe we'll make this the highlight clip. Yeah, keep the cadence, keep the rhythm, return phone calls, be timely. Don't be non-timely on your end, and then 2 months later call me and say, "Yeah, well, we've had you guys on this for 3, 4 months and it's still not filled." Yeah,
Right,
bro, that's because your girl Sally would not schedule the damn interviews and call people back. Like, come on, man.
right. You got to move. You got to
Move.
keep good cadence.
Yeah, move. Keep the cadence. Okay, here's another good one. We could do a whole hour show on this. Here's another good one. Make sure you get all your shit together and everybody's on the same page before we start.
Yes.
Hiring manager, the HR person, if it's a small to medium-sized company, the CEO, are you all holding hands? I don't want to be 32 days down the road and then all of a sudden Johnny's coming in from the side telling you, "Oh, well, actually, this is what we're looking for." Like, no.
Yeah. Absolutely. You got to have it all done on the due diligence on the front end for sure.
Let's just start a company together that just trains clients how to deal with recruiting
Yeah.
firms.
How to be an effective player in the recruiting space. Yes, that would be fun.
All right, Kathleen. Thank you so much. Hang on just a second. I'm going to hit stop on the recording. Thanks for being on the show, but don't hang up yet.
Okay.